Welcome back, everyone. This is GTA Failure. In our last video, we explored the basics of taxi as well as some glitches involving the taxi. In this video, we attempt a challenge submitted by a YouTuber in the comments to the last video. Note that this is not the same save file that we've been using in this series. It's just a different save file that I made over here by the dodo. So the YouTuber, whose YouTube name is the Marcin from GTA Games, that's Marcin, Marcin, the Marcin from GTA Games wrote, and here's the quote: "Here's a little challenge for you. Do at least one taxi fare by using the dodo. However, you can't just drive to the destination. You have to fly over there." And then a little winky emoji face here. So I thought the challenge sounded fun and reasonable. I spent about 2.5 hours attempting this challenge. By the end, I wasn't sure if it was fun or reasonable. To be candid, I'm not great at flying the dodo, as evidenced in this beginning clip here. Taking off, I'm generally fine if I have a long straight runway, like at the airport. But I had a lot of trouble even getting off the ground after picking up a passenger as I was recording footage for this because of other traffic and light poles, curves in the road, mountains. Once I'm up in the air, I'm okay at controlling the dodo. I'm not awesome at landings, but I did improve on my landings as I recorded the footage for this video. Unfortunately, I flipped my dodo on a couple of landings. I also damaged my dodo on some landings so much that the passenger fled in terror before I was able to drop them off at the ending blue marker. Okay, so mostly this was fun for me. I do enjoy flying the dodo, even though I'm not great at it at the moment. But there were definitely some frustrating parts. I'll explain the glitch when we find a taxi cab. But right now I'm trying to head to like a reasonable place to start the taxi. And what I wanted was two things. I wanted to find a spot on the map that was kind of at a high elevation, so that potentially the drop-off point would be at a lower elevation, because it's a whole lot easier to get the dodo to glide down than to get the dodo to gain elevation. And number two, I wanted a spot where there was kind of a long runway without much in the way. Okay, so here's the glitch. I'm going to hold simultaneously the look backwards button and the mission start button. And then I'm going to walk into the plane and then I'm going to release both of those buttons. And that allows me to start taxi driver in any vehicle. Of course, you got to start in a taxi when you're beginning this process. So I got plenty of time to pick up the first passenger here. Like there's no time limit until you pick up the first passenger. So I'm just kind of looking around. You'll see the dodo is very slow to move backwards. It's not great moving forwards, but it's crazy slow to accelerate backwards. So we pick up a passenger and we'll make our first attempt here. So where are we going? Northwest Towers. Awesome, because that's at a lower elevation than I am. So I'm hoping to get a straightaway, like a clear patch of road where I can get enough speed to get this dodo airborne, and then try to glide over to the destination. Okay, so here you can see I just didn't have enough takeoff room. Like I took off because there was a car right in front of me, but I didn't have enough room to actually maintain elevation. Didn't have enough speed, I guess I should say. At some point, kind of late in my attempts, I started to do the camera glitch where you repeatedly change the kind of camera view that you have, and then that despawns traffic in front of you. I think I have to hit the C button 6 times on my keyboard to do that. Okay, but now we're getting in it, gang. Now we are in it. So one thing I discovered is that the dodo has very low health, much lower than I realized. And so right there, I mean, the dodo wasn't in perfect health when I picked this person up, but I damaged it enough over the course of having this dodo that the passenger fled in terror. And notice that that happens when you're in a taxi cab earlier than the taxi catches on fire. Yeah, that was the most common way for me to fail, and attempted this. Another common way is what I'm showing you here, and that's getting busted. So it's quite easy to get wanted attention in the dodo. Like when I land it near my whatever destination I'm aiming for, I might land on some people, I might run into a cop car, and then have a 1-star level. In order to do the glitch, I need to find and steal a taxi cab or a taxi or a cabbie. Here I tried to get away, but the acceleration of the dodo is so low that I didn't. Um, and then another issue for getting wanted attention is that when you steal that taxi, oftentimes the taxi driver will come after you, and so then you have to like shoot them. which might get you more wanted attention. Okay, so now I'm going to show you my best attempts. Like you're not getting a true sense of all of the fails. I could have made like a massive fails clip, but ultimately it mostly just would have been passengers fleeing in terror. So here are my best attempts in 2.5 hours of doing this. And so here you can see that we're doing a lot of gliding and then eventually landing over here. Wish I would have landed better. Like I said, I improved at landing as I did the challenge. So I'm going to share with you some stats for each of my good attempts. So the total trip was 50 seconds, 50 seconds. That's from the moment the passenger got into my dodo until right now as they get out, 50 seconds. And my total fly time was 23 seconds. That was split into two different pieces because I accidentally hit some rocks. And so that is 46% of the passengers' time in the dodo was spent in the air, 46%. So it wasn't clear what is a success, right? Like this is just kind of an arbitrary challenge. And so I had to sort of think about how would I define a successful attempt here. And so I thought maybe, I mean, like you can't have 100% flight time, right? Because you pick up the passenger on the ground, and then it takes quite a bit of driving the dodo to get enough speed to get airborne. And then when you are getting near the destination, you also have to spend some time on the ground because you have to stop in the blue marker. So I thought maybe I'd like to spend like at least half of the passenger's time in the dodo up in the air. And also it would be nice to land very close to the blue marker and then just kind of like drive the last little bit smoothly into the blue marker. So here this was looking pretty good. Unfortunately, I didn't quite nail the landing as you'll see. So stats on this one, let's see here. Here it was a 66 seconds of flight time, sorry, 66 seconds of the passenger being in the dodo, and 40 of those seconds were up in the air. So 61% of that trip was up in the air. That seemed pretty good. In this, I thought he got electrocuted by the sign here, but he was okay. No worries, no worries. No passengers were harmed in the filming of this video. And this one, I had an awful hard time just even getting up off the ground. And then I'm going to decide to kind of take the long way around as I'm flying, just because I was too high to sort of land directly on the straight line path to the destination. Doing extra flying around also improves the percentage of time that I'm in the air. So I don't know, win-win. Yeah, it's just barely off the ground, barely enough speed. Okay, so each failed attempt here took maybe like 4 or 5 minutes, which included flying the dodo to the place I wanted to try to pick up the passenger, and then waiting for a taxi to spawn in the wild, and then doing the glitch, and then picking up the passenger, and finally flying them to their destination. Let's see here. Right, yeah, I think that's about it in terms of stuff to share. Oh, there's the stadium, go Cox. All right, so this one. I'm going to estimate a flight time, a passenger in the plane time of 142 seconds. Unfortunately, I didn't nail the landing and I couldn't get us there. We got stuck. So 142 seconds that the passenger was in the dodo, and I was in the air for 46 of those seconds, so 32% or so. This one, I'm just showing, I didn't actually get in the air at all on this one. The destination is right around the corner. It's the import-export garage. But what's interesting to me about this clip is that in over 1,000 hours of playing this game, the only time that I've been doing taxi and I've gotten the same destination in consecutive pickups is right here, this import-export garage on shoreside. And so we just got one import-export destination there, and here's a second one. And I've never seen this at any other location on any of the 3 islands. In fact, when I was learning to speedrun the game, I considered doing 100 taxi drop-offs all here on shoreside, just because sometimes you get really lucky and you get back-to-back right here at Import-Export Garage. There's another pickup, the dam pickup is very close by. Check this out, I'm going to get literally no time added for this passenger. Now, I recognize we're close to the import-export garage, but I should have some time, right? Like to drop the person off. So 3 in a row. Just thought that was an oddity, so I figured I would show it. Okay, next attempt at this. This is my second to last attempt in this video. So I can talk a little bit about some of the destinations I tried, the starting locations, I should say. So I experimented with a few places. I had some near successes by using the dam as my runway. So I'd pick up a passenger on one side of the dam or the other, and then I would drive full speed along the dam and try to get enough speed to get off the ground. That worked pretty well. One difficulty I had was that the dam is curved. And you would, like it doesn't seem like it would make that much of a difference, but it did for me. I did have a hard time getting enough speed because of the curve. Also, there's some traffic on the dam. It's quite wide, but every time I turned the wheels, I felt like I lost a little bit of my speed as I was avoiding traffic on the dam or following the slight curve of the dam. Um, I think heading from west to east on the dam was harder for me because on the east side of the dam is like a bunch of mountains. But on the west side, you have a little bit more leeway with some roads before things get congested and the roads get smaller. I also tried over by Catalina's mansion. There's like I would land somewhere over there, and then I'd try to pick up a passenger, and then I would head west on the road right in front of Catalina's mansion, which is a four-lane road, and it's a straight shot. The traffic was really the only issue, light poles as well, but I guess I should have used the flicking the camera trick earlier in my attempts at this. Then traffic wouldn't have been as much of an issue. Okay, so this was going great until I killed the passenger and myself. So that was a 109 seconds altogether that the passenger was in the dodo, and we were airborne for 68 seconds, which is a whopping 62% of the passenger's travel time being up in the air. And so I think that this passenger would have left me really high reviews on, like the Uber app, if they were still alive. I don't, maybe their survivors, friends or family will give me a retroactive 5-star review. Like they did great until they killed our aunt. I don't know. Okay, so here is my final attempt at this, which is why I'm showing you the whole thing, just to give you a sense again of what the entire process looked like, not just the ending part where you pick up the passenger and try to fly. So I'm not promising that this is going to be a successful attempt or even that it's my best attempt. Again, we have to define what a successful attempt is for this challenge. All I'm saying is that this is my final attempt. Um, and uh, and so some other things that I considered, like every attempt that you see here is on shoreside, and I considered Staunton and Portland, the other two islands, but I honestly didn't even try a single time on either of those islands. Number one, I did really like having I'm struggling here just because everything is reversed as I walk around with the look backwards button being held down. Um, so number one, the you don't really have a lot of altitude changes on those two islands. There's a little bit on the two islands, but not much, not near as much as here. And like I mentioned early in this video, I was sort of hoping to take advantage of the altitude difference by picking up a passenger someplace high up and dropping them off someplace low. And then the other thing is that many of the destinations on the other two islands are like just in the heart of the city with tons and tons of buildings around and lots of things that can knock me out of the sky. Anyway, just harder to land because it's so congested. Here, I regret taking this trip to this particular path. How come I can't get through there? Come on. I never tried it. I just assumed I could manage my way through, but I shouldn't have tried that. I'm just trying to get to like some clear empty space. It doesn't have to be the runway, but I just need a lot of space to get my poor little dodo going. So that cost me some time and it decreases my percentage of time spent up in the air. But we're going to head this way and then we're going to get off the ground just before that gate up ahead and see if we can't get enough height to get this person to the dam. Several of the destinations here on Shoreside Vale are out in the open, right? Like the dam is out in the open, no light poles around, no buildings right next to it. The park, we dropped somebody off over there. It's just coming up here, down below us, straight ahead, and down below is the park. And the one by the towers here to our left. Okay, it's not great in terms of spacing around it, but It's not as congested in terms of buildings as some of the other destinations on the other islands. Okay, so here we go, gang. This is going to be it, our final attempt. Can we come in for a smooth landing? Remember, my hope was to land just in front of the blue marker and then drive gently in to the blue marker and stop. No U-turns, no three-point turns. Boom, nailed it. $1,086. Okay, so the stats for that final attempt. Let's see here. The uh, passenger was in the vehicle for 111 seconds. The flight time was 43 seconds, and that's a 39 percentage of time spent up in the air, which is not as good as some of my other attempts that I've shown here. But I did like the landing there, and also the 39% is artificially low because I wasted a lot of just kind of trying to find a nice open stretch. This is me flicking the camera around to get rid of traffic. It's not going to help that much in this case. Um, yeah, so I'm going to call that my final attempt. Is it the best? I don't know. I don't know. I hope I met Marcine's challenge goals. And there's the passenger fleeing in terror, a perfect way to end this video. So if you have any suggestions for things I can try, challenges I can do, leave them in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you real soon.